The Bachelorette Season 22 was supposed to premiere on ABC this Sunday. It is not airing. Because Taylor Frankie Paul, the woman ABC chose to hand that rose to, is on probation for throwing metal chairs at her ex-boyfriend while her 5-year-old daughter screamed for her from the couch. And she admitted all of it on camera before they gave her the contract. ABC knew. They knew about the arrest, they knew about the guilty plea, and they knew about the probation. Hulu put the body camera footage of her arrest in the very first episode of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and it became the most watched unscripted premiere on the platform in 2024. Disney owns both Hulu and ABC, so when the full assault video dropped 3 days before the Bachelorette premiere and they canceled the season within hours, the question was never really about Taylor Frankie Paul. The question was who looked at all of that, saw the ratings, and handed her a rose anyway. But before we get into ABC, let's let Taylor tell the story herself. Because she already did in great detail before any of this became a controversy, and it sounds nothing like what her team is saying now.
And so I think hormones are whack at this point. I'm feeling crazy. I'm feeling lost. I don't know what to do. I'm angry. I'm very angry. That's the one emotion I feel like.
Hormones. That is where she starts. A miscarriage is devastating and nobody is dismissing that. But watch how the explanation builds from here.
I end up drinking that night again, feeling very lost. I hadn't drank really lately in that time, but I was feeling so low that I went and drank that night and had a girls' night. Dakota picks me up. He's angry that I drank and I'm feeling shitty.
She says again, not the first time, again. She was supposed to stay sober. Dakota was a recovering addict and they had an agreement. She went out anyway and drank. Then she called him to come pick her up.
I'm crying to the whole way home of I hate my life. I'm saying sorry. I'm so sorry to my family.
So Dakota drives across town to pick up his drunk girlfriend who broke that agreement, and she is in the passenger seat crying about her life. Up to this point, he has done nothing.
And then I get home and I think about what Dakota had put on that. And it's not his fault, but I'm wanting to cling to something. So I blame him. I hate you. I'm so angry. And, projecting on him. And
she gets home drunk and emotional and starts thinking about things Dakota did. Not that night, not in that moment, just things in general. And she decides to make them his problem right then.
I'm throwing things. I remember throwing things and I don't know my daughter's on the couch. I had no idea.
She starts throwing things in a house where her children are. She assumes they are upstairs sleeping, but she does not know. She is drunk and throwing objects and hoping they are out of the way.
And I'm so gone that I don't care. And I throw another chair and it
Dakota tells her that her daughter is right there, and she says she was so gone that she did not care, not confused, not overwhelmed. She did not care.
Your daughter is right here! Oh my gosh. Oh my. You're unbelievable. No, you.
That moment does not match the version of events her team is trying to sell now. It is her own description of what she chose to do after being told her child was in the room.
We don't know if it hit her or not, but it sounded like it did. So in the police report, it does say it hit her, but in reality, we didn't know if it hit her. It might have not have hit her at all.
The police report says it did. The officer documented a visible injury on the child's head, but Taylor sat on a podcast and said they do not know if it hit her or not.
I think she was crying because she saw me crying. Yeah. And I don't care. I feel so careless. I didn't care. And that's what hurts is I didn't think about her,
Her explanation is that her daughter was crying because she saw her crying, not because of what just happened in that room or being hit by a stool. Then she says it again. Careless. Did not care. She says she did not think about her daughter that night, not in the moment. She said all of these things after having time to look back and reflect. This was the narrative for the last 2 years, packaging it as a wake-up call and a blessing and a turning point. And Hollywood rewarded her for it with television deals and brand partnerships, and ultimately a Bachelorette contract. And then the actual footage dropped, and suddenly the story she had been telling in every interview does not match what everyone just saw on their screens. Now here is what her team is saying instead, that she has been silently suffering extensive abuse for years, that she is a victim finally speaking up, that the video dropping days before her premiere was a calculated move by a jealous ex. Here is the problem. She already told you what happened before any of this became a headline. She said she was the aggressor. She confirmed the charge was accurate. She described the entire sequence herself. And that sequence matters. Because people keep trying to flatten this into a typical toxic relationship story, and maybe parts of it were. Maybe Dakota has his own issues. But there is a moment where he tells her their daughter is right there and she keeps going. There is a moment where the child screams "mommy" and she does not stop. There is a moment where police are standing in the room and she hits him again at the front door anyway, in front of law enforcement. She could not stop even with officers present. That is not something you can shift onto someone else after the fact. And then there is what happened next, because this is not a story about one night that changed everything. After the arrest, after the plea, while still on probation, and after all of it was already out in the open, she went back. They had a baby together. They broke up, got back together, and broke up again. And in February this year, police were called 2 days in a row. Dakota filed for a protective order, alleging she choked him, shoved him into a window, threw his phone, blocked him from leaving, and grabbed his face through his truck window when he tried to drive away. The same man, the same pattern, 3 years later. At some point, you stop being able to point at him. I want to be clear about something before I finish. I believe abuse is real. I believe victims are often trapped in situations they cannot easily leave. And I believe Dakota has his own responsibility for whatever he brought into that relationship. But I also believe what she said herself before any of this became a narrative. She said she did not care. She said she did not think about her daughter that night. Those are her words. And I keep thinking about that child. The one on the couch. The one who screamed. The one who stood at the window watching her mother get taken away. She is 8 years old now, and that video is still out there, still searchable, still tied to her whether she wants it or not. That is not a storyline. That is a real child whose worst night did not stay private. And nothing that happened after changes that. Not the network decisions, not the statements, not whatever version of this story gets told next. Everything built around this collapsed almost overnight. And that is where the question comes back. Because none of this was hidden. She had already told this story publicly. The police body cam footage existed. The report was documented. The plea was on record. ABC did not need to see the entire incident to know what they were signing up for. And they moved forward anyway. And one more thing because it needs to be said. Reactive abuse is real. DARVO is real. Trauma bonding is real. These are legitimate concepts that help survivors make sense of genuinely complicated and dangerous situations. But somewhere along the way, this conversation turned into a competition to see who could deploy the most therapy vocabulary the fastest and call it advocacy. When you watch a video of a woman describing in her own words how she did not care that her daughter was in the room, and your response is to pull out a clinical term and call it settled, you are not protecting victims. You are protecting a narrative, and those are not the same thing. There are women right now who cannot leave their situations. No money, no platform, no options. Taylor Frankie Paul is not one of them. And when you apply that language to someone with every available resource, it blurs the line for the people who actually need it to be clear. The child deserved better. Both children did. And no amount of redemption content or carefully worded statements or canceled television seasons changes what that little girl experienced in that room. She is 8 years old now, and this video is on the internet forever, and nobody is putting out a press release about that. Neither one of these people is winning a parenting award, and if Taylor comes forward with real evidence of what she claims happened, I will cover it, and I will give it a fair look. But there is no evidence, no footage, and no statement that is ever going to make me okay with a mother who heard her child scream for her and did not stop. That is the line for me, and I am not moving it. Taylor Frankie Paul has not been charged in connection with the February 2026 investigation. Dakota has also denied her allegations, and a hearing is scheduled for April 7th. I will be watching what comes out of that hearing. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And always remember,
that's my opinion!